So in today's lesson, we're going to look at various volume problems involving finding missing lengths in certain pyramids and prisms. Okay, so on the slide here, you will see a starter which requires you to find the volume of certain shapes that you've looked at over the last week. Okay, so have a go at these for the next couple of minutes and then come back for the answers. Thank you. Do you want to pause me now? Okay, so what we are going to do now is go through the answers. So the first one, it's a cuboid, you just multiply the three numbers together, which gives you 72 centimeters cubed. Remember your centimeters cubed. On the second one, right, first of all, it should say meters cubed, so that's a mistake there because it's in meters. But the idea is you work out the triangle at the front, so it's 7 times 5, which is 35, but then you must half it for a triangle, so it gives you 17.5, and then you times by how far back you go, which is 4, which gives you an answer of 70. In the bottom left one for the cylinder, you work out the area of the circle at the top, so it's 4 times 4 times pi, okay? So pi being 3.14, which gives you 50.2, and then you times by the height of the cylinder, which gives you 502 up to certain rounding. If you're close enough, it's correct, okay? Now the next one, okay, so the idea is for a pyramid, you multiply the three numbers together in the normal way you would do for a cuboid, like on the first one, but then you must divide your answer by 3, because remember it's in 3D, so that's why we divide by 3. Okay, it gives you 126. Right, let's have a look at what we're going to do today then. So we're going to look at reverse volume. So those were learn objectives. Just have a little read. You can pause me if you want to spend a bit of time reading those. Otherwise, we'll get straight on with the lesson. So I want you to find the missing length. Okay. So in these problems, there's two of them. There's two examples here. You had to find x given that you've been told the volume. So you're sort of working backwards. Okay. So let's go through what you do here then. So you can see I want to find x. So this means 3 times 10 times this missing length we don't know yet equals 120. Okay, so 3 times 10 makes 30. So what do you need to multiply 30 by to get to 120? Well, indeed, you need to multiply by 4. On the next one, again, you've got three numbers that multiply this time to make 150. So 5 times something is 150. Well, 5 times 5 is 25. So how many 25s in 160? Sorry, 150? Well, you do 150 divided by 25, which gives you 6. Okay? So you're just looking for the number that multiplies to make that final answer. If you need to replay that, feel free. Otherwise, these are your questions to try, okay? So you want to put me on pause for sort of 8 minutes or so while you try to find these missing lengths here, okay? And then come back for the answers once you've had a good go at those. Okay then, so here are your answers. Right, so I'm going to move on. Hopefully getting those right. Next up then, so it's pyramids. So we're going to find missing lengths in pyramids. If you remember, the formula for a pyramid was you work out the base area and you times by the height, but you must remember to divide by 3. So that's why I'm writing times by a third, because times by a third means divide by 3. Okay, let's see an example then. So this is the example that was on the previous slide. Okay. So you've been told the volume is 112. You've also been told the base area, which is 24. Right, let's use our formula. Okay. So remember the formula was, right, so the volume, the total volume equals, well, you've got this third times by the area of the base times by the height. Okay. So a third times by the base times by the height. That's just a formula written down. And I've just put in 24 because that's the area of the base that's given in the question. We're also told the volume, so we can swap that over as well. The volume is 112. That's what I've written down. Now you might be wondering why I've written down 8H. Well, the reason for that is because, well, I've actually just worked out a third of 24. So I've just divided 24 by 3. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. And that's how I've got 8H. So to work that out, finally, just divide the two numbers. Okay, so 112 divided by 8 is 14. Okay, let's do another one because there's a lot of steps there. So it's very similar on the other side of the page. Okay, so we're going to write down our formula again. Okay, so you've got volume equals, well, remember it's a third times by the base area times by the height. So we know the base area, it's 33. Okay, so I've just written down that. So volume equals a third times by the base area times by the height. It might be useful, well, it probably will be useful to write down this formula just so you have it. So when you see one in the next slide, you'll know what to do. Okay, right, we're going to do two things in this next line, like we did on the previous example. We're going to swap the volume for 132. Okay, and we're also going to work out what a third of 33 is. So to work out a third of 33, you do 33 divided by 3. Okay, which is 11. So the volume, which is 132 from the question, and I've just worked out this a third of 33, which is 11. The final step is because you've got 11 times something is 132. So you've got to work out this something. Okay, so you just divide the two numbers. If you divide the two numbers, you get 12. So 132 divided by 11 is 12. Okay, so these are your three to try. Right? It's the same idea. So just as a hint, if you want a hint on the first one, you should be writing down volume equals a third times 15 times H. That's volume equals a third times 15 times H. And then trying to work out what H is. And also you know your volume is 105. So have a go at those and then come back for the answers in a few minutes' time. So here are your answers, 21, 8 and 12. The reason why it's 21 is because you get 105 equals a third of 5 times H. So 105 equals 5 times H. So you've got to do 105 divided by 5, which is 21. Right. Okay, we're just going to jump past this example. I want to get on to something else. I want to look at cylinders as well. Skip past these, sorry. Right, cylinders. Okay. So, again, it's another reverse volume question. Okay. So, ignoring the fact it says 200.96, ignore that. Right, I want to work out this missing H. Okay. And we're given the volume. Now, if you remember, for the cylinder, you want the area of the circle at the top times by the height, and that's your volume. So your very first thing you need to do is work out the area of the top of the cylinder. Okay, so the area of the top of the cylinder, remember it's a circle, so it's pi r squared. So the area of the circle is going to be pi r squared, so it's going to be pi times 8 times 8, and you work that out. So you just worked out the area of the top, that's pi times 8 times 8. Okay, so what that means is that this answer of 200.96 times by your height equals 1,400. Okay, so you've got to take that answer and just divide it. So you do 1,400 divided by 200.96, gives you 7. So the steps are, to repeat that, you work out the area of the top, pi times 8 times 8, you get an answer. And you take that answer and you do the 1,400 in the question divided by that answer. So it gives you about 7 up to rounding. Okay? Right, so more for you to try then. So what I want you to do is to work out the area of the top and then take that answer and just do your volume divided by it. That's your method, okay? So find the H in these questions. So off you go now. Do you want to put me on pause? Thank you. Right then, so we'll have a look. So the first one, 14.1, 8 and 10.6. So the reason why it's 14.1 is because you should have done 6 times 6 times pi, okay, which gives you about 113-ish. And then you do 1,600 divided by your answer. And that's how you get 14.1. Again, if you're out a little bit by the rounding, it's fine. As long as it's about 14, it's correct. Right. The last thing I want you to do is focus independent time. So depending how much time you've got left, you need to try these 4 questions, okay? And then come back for the answers afterwards. Thank you. Do you want to put me on pause? Okay, so here are the answers. So they're at the bottom. I've just noticed on the middle one, it should say 5 times 6 times 7, not 5 times 5 times 7. It's got to be consecutive numbers, which means next to each other. Okay, so 5, 6, 7. Right, just red, amber, green, purple your work, and then please return to the lesson so your teacher can give you further instructions. Thank you. Thanks for listening.